Henry Ford, a name synonymous with cars and American industry, began his life as a simple farm boy in rural Michigan. His journey from Michigan's fields to Detroit's factories shows his tireless pursuit of innovation and excellence. Born in 1863, young Henry found farm life dull. The repetitive chores didn't interest him or satisfy his curiosity. He was more interested in the machines that made farm work easier. He was much more interested in how machines worked. The sounds of metal parts, the smell of oil, and the challenge of fixing things fascinated him. He would spend hours looking at and playing with any mechanical device he could find. At 12, he built a small machine shop in his backyard, showing his growing passion. This little workshop became his safe place, where he could experiment and learn without having to do farm chores. This interest in mechanics, which started when he was young, would later be the basis for his important contributions to the car industry. His early experiments, although simple, were important for helping him understand how machines worked. Ford's dislike of farm work and his love for mechanics made him leave the family farm at 16. This started a new part of his life, one that would take him far from his childhood home. He went to Detroit, the busy industrial center at the time. The city, with its factories and workshops, offered many opportunities for a young man who wanted to learn and create. It was very different from the quiet life he had known. In the city, he learned all about machines, becoming an apprentice in a machine shop. There, he saw the newest industrial techniques and technologies, which made him even more passionate about mechanics. This experience gave him valuable practical knowledge and made him a better mechanic. The hands-on training he received was very important for his future work. It also made him want to change the way things were made, especially in transportation. He imagined a future where machines would not only work better but also be available to everyone. Ford's early years were filled with curiosity and a desire to learn how things worked. This strong curiosity was the reason for his many inventions and discoveries. He had a natural talent for figuring out how complex machines worked, finding ways to make them better, and then making those ideas real. This special skill made him different from others and prepared him for his future success. This mix of mechanical skill and visionary thinking would shape his career and make him a leader in the car industry. His ability to think ahead and imagine a better future was a sign of his genius. His early experiences, although they seemed simple, were very important for making him the powerful businessman he would become. They were the basis for building his empire, changing not only the car industry, but also American society. Ford wasn't happy just working for other people. He was driven to start his own businesses. Even as a young boy, he was fascinated by machines and how things worked. He always wanted to make existing designs better by experimenting with different mechanical devices. He wanted to make his own ideas real. Ford's love for innovation wasn't just a hobby. It was something he had to do, and it pushed him to try new things. He spent many hours in his workshop, tinkering and improving his ideas. This led him to start his first car company, the Detroit Automobile Company, in 1899. The company wanted to make cars that everyone could afford, but it had problems with high production costs and low sales. This first business didn't last long and wasn't as successful as Ford had hoped. The company closed in 1901, but Ford didn't give up. He saw this as a chance to learn and do better next time. He then started the Henry Ford Company in 1901, but it had similar problems and closed a year later. Even though things weren't going well, Ford became even more determined. He really wanted to make his dream come true. Even though these early businesses failed, Ford didn't lose hope. He kept improving his designs and looking for new opportunities. He truly believed that cars could change the world, and this belief kept him going. He had seen what cars could do and knew how important they could be. Ford believed cars could change how people lived and worked, making transportation faster, better, and easier for everyone. He learned from his mistakes, improved his ideas, and looked for new business partners. He knew that to be successful, he needed good designs, money, and people to work with. In 1903, a coal merchant named Alexander Malcolmson gave Ford money to start his third car company, the Ford Motor Company. This partnership gave Ford the resources and help he needed to make his dream a reality. This time, things looked good. Ford's ideas and Malcolmson's business skills were a good mix for starting a car revolution. They worked hard together to make a car that wasn't just cheap but also worked well and was easy to make. The new company, working out of an old factory in Detroit, had a lot of competition. Many other companies also wanted to make cars, so it was hard for a new company to be successful. Cars were expensive, and most people couldn't afford them. They were also complicated to use, so only rich people bought them. But Ford had a different idea. He thought cars should be useful tools for everyone, not just something to show off. He wanted to make this happen. He wanted cars to be reliable and affordable for everyone, not just toys for the rich. This idea led to the Model T, a car that would become very famous and change the car industry. This goal, based on his belief that everyone should be able to travel easily, would change the company and personal transportation forever. Ford's constant push for new ideas and his commitment to his vision created the modern car industry, making cars a part of everyday life for millions of people. In 1908, Ford introduced the Model T, a car that would change everything about cars. Back then, only rich people had cars. The Model T changed that. It was a revolutionary car that made it possible for regular people to own a car and enjoy the freedom of driving. Other car companies made expensive luxury cars, but the Model T was made to be affordable. Ford wanted to make a car that was not only cheap, but also reliable and easy to fix. This was a big change, as most car makers back then only cared about making cars for rich people. The Model T was a car for everyone, and it was built for their needs. It was a simple, strong car, built to last and be easy to fix. The design was simple on purpose, with parts that could be easily swapped out, making repairs cheap and easy. This meant that even people who didn't know much about cars could keep their Model T running. The car's toughness and simplicity made it popular and loved for a long time. Its low price, which was possible because of efficient factory methods, meant that regular Americans could now buy cars. Ford's innovative assembly line made production much faster and cheaper, allowing the company to sell the Model T at a price no one had seen before. Now, almost anyone could own a car, which was a huge change, giving people more freedom and independence. The Model T was a huge success right away, and everyone wanted one. People from all different backgrounds liked how practical and affordable it was. It wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of progress and new ideas. You started seeing Model Ts everywhere, and it quickly became a famous car. Because it was simple and affordable, people started calling it Tin Lizzie. This nickname showed how much people loved their Model Ts. The Model T wasn't just a way to get around, it was a friend that made life easier and more fun. People liked it even more because it could be used for many things. It worked just as well in the city as it did in the country. Farmers, families, and businessmen all found the Model T to be a useful tool that could handle different jobs and road conditions. It could be used for almost anything, so many different people liked it. It could drive on the bumpy dirt roads that were everywhere back then, making it good for both cities and the country. This was especially important because many places didn't have paved roads yet. The Model T could handle these tough conditions, so it was a good choice for people living in areas without good roads. The Model T wasn't just a car, it showed freedom, progress, and a new time when people could travel easily. It meant that people could go farther, see new places, and connect with each other in ways they never could before. The Model T changed car history forever. It started mass production and made cars popular. The Model T's impact went beyond just cars. It changed society and the economy too. Cars went from being something only rich people had to something everyone could buy, changing how people lived, worked, and interacted with the world. The Model T's affordability and reliability made it accessible to many people, leading to a big shift in how people traveled and lived their lives. It helped shape the world we live in today. This change had a big impact on America. More people moved to the suburbs because they could drive to work. It also helped other industries grow, like road building, oil, and rubber, which helped the economy. The Model T wasn't just a cool piece of technology, it changed society and culture. It brought people together, created new ways for people to socialize, and played an important role in how American society changed. The Model T shows how powerful new ideas can be and how they can change people's lives. Ford always wanted to make things efficiently and affordably, so he created a new way to produce things, the moving assembly line. He saw how other industries made things continuously, and he used that idea to make cars. In 1913, the first moving assembly line was put in Ford's Highland Park factory in Michigan. This changed how things were made forever. The assembly line took the complicated process of building a car and broke it into smaller, easier jobs. Each worker had one job to do over and over at their station. The car's frame moved along a belt, and workers added parts one after another as it moved down the line. This made building cars much faster and cheaper. The assembly line was a huge change. Ford could now make cars faster than ever before, making the Model T even cheaper. This made even more people want to buy the Model T, so Ford kept making the assembly line better and faster. The assembly line changed how we make things today. It's used not just for cars, but for lots of other things too. It became a symbol of how to make things efficiently and how powerful mass production could be.